Are you ready to break through the mental barriers holding you back? Welcome to the Mind Mastered Secrets of Excellence with Dawn Grant. Since 2001, Dawn has been guiding elite athletes like PGA Tour champions, Olympians, and world champions, and everyday individuals toward peak performance. With a proven track record, including helping Vijay Singh win the 2008 FedEx Cup, and her PGA Tour clients averaging a 219% increase in earnings. Dawn knows what it takes to succeed. She's the inventor of the Mind Mastered app, author of 7 Strokes in 7 Days, a sought-after speaker worldwide, and the proud owner of Amelia Shotgun Sports in Northeast Florida. Join us as we dive into powerful strategies, inspiring interviews, and Dawn's unique insights to help you excel in every area of your life, sports, career, relationships, and beyond. And now, here's your host, Dawn Grant.
Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to Secrets of Excellence. I love interviewing folks to find out what their secrets are and the areas that they've succeeded in their lives and the great things that they've accomplished and even some of the hardships along the way and how they've overcome those and got to the place where they are now. So as a mental trainer and a hypnotist, I love getting in people's minds and understanding and also trying to pass on information to help you also to excel. And maybe the secrets that we share today will help you with that as well. So today I've got Pam Graves with me, and she is in Fernandina Beach, Florida, Amelia Island. She had been a realtor for many years, but is now focusing her time in Amina Hope, which we're going to learn all about today. And congratulations on being a new grandma, Pam. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Super excited.
Nice. Well, give a really quick synopsis of who you are and some highlights, and then we're going to dive in deeper.
Yeah. Second generation realtor here on Amelia Island, Fernandina. Grew up here, graduated from high school here, raised my kiddos here, and married. We are a blended family. He brought one into the marriage and I brought 2, and one with special needs, and just been plugging away at life. We're members of First Baptist Church here in Fernandina, and my husband's an electrical engineer, and like I said, I just retired about 2 years ago from real estate. So
Nice.
lots of amazing changes going on, but so good.
Nice. That is a lot going on. And the new grandbaby is
Yeah.
how old right now?
He was born Easter Monday, so probably, I don't know, 4 months.
Nice.
Yeah.
You get to see a lot of him.
They're in Tampa,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
So, it's only 4.5 hours away. So I'm grateful, that we can scoot down as often as we can. I talk to some grandparents there, get to see their grandchildren once or twice a year. And so
Yeah.
I'm super grateful that I can just, get down there pretty quickly and get some sugar and leave.
I could see that. My daughter lives in St. Pete and she loves it there. I don't see her leaving, so I'll be in the same boat as you at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about Amina Hope and what you've got going on with that.
Amina Hope started in 2021, but it came out of a ministry, short-term mission trip that my family and I did in 2015. So we went over to Jinja, Uganda as a family and served some organizations there. We did a short stint in Texarkana, Arkansas, and the church that we were going to there, they had just sent a team over. And when they got back, I told my husband, I said, I've never been on a short-term mission trip. I don't know what that looks like or how to do it.
Yeah.
But no, I want what those people have. I mean, they were just so amazing. And their hearts were so full, and their outlook was, their perspective had changed on some really important things and life and family and how to do stuff, different and better. And I'm all in. I mean, what do I need to do? Sign me up, So anyway, we basically mimicked their itinerary. We just took their itinerary and stayed in the places they stayed and served the people stations that they served. Because I thought, why reinvent the wheel? They had just done it. So we did it as a family. And so that's how it all started. And I just knew on the trip home that the Lord and Holy Spirit was prompting me to do something for the people of Uganda. I didn't know at the time what that looked like.
Yeah.
And so, I was really avoiding it because, that's a heavy, heavy calling and a life-changing calling. And we had 3 little kids and, we were in debt. And I mean, I just couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do or what that even looked like.
Yeah.
And so I just kept shoving it, on the back burner. And of course, when the Lord wants you to do something, he stays on your heels until you trust him enough to, dive in. And that's what I did in 2021.
So you're the founder of the program?
Yes. Yes.
So tell me what you observed and what you experienced that you wanted to replicate and that you have replicated. What are some of the key factors there?
So it's very difficult. I had been very blessed to travel the world my whole life and I've never been to a third world war-torn country. And I was utterly shocked when I got off the plane and went through the airport. I mean, it started immediately. The men there, the security's everywhere with their AKs and and it's just shocking. I mean, I had no idea, that nobody prepared me for what to expect.
Right.
And so that was shocking. And then we get to the city and they did have, it's Jinja, Uganda, and it's a city and they have electricity and running water and internet and, all the things. But so we stayed there. So we had all of those luxuries. But then when we started serving the outlying villages, those people have nothing. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
They fetch their waters. I mean, what you see on the internet is real. I mean, a lot of it. You see the little girls with the buckets on their heads full of water, the ladies with the baskets full of whatever they just dug out of the garden. So again, super shocking to see.
Yeah.
The poverty is on a different level than anything I had ever seen. People are starving. They're still dealing with AIDS, HIV. It's just, it was shocking. It was shocking.
Interesting because literally my husband and I were out to dinner. I think it was Sunday night. We were at David's, right?
Yeah.
So we're spending high dollar. And the young lady that waited on us, she had a really strong accent, beautiful young lady. And so I was like, where are you from? And she said Honduras. Oh. And I was like, wow, you're in a different world now, aren't you? And she was like, yeah, you could say that. And the reason I said that is because a few years ago, my husband had never been on a cruise until I dragged him on one a few years ago. I say drag because it took like 2 years to convince him to go.
Yeah, I haven't been that lucky yet.
And we went the wrong time of it was raining, it was cold, it was January. Don't do that. So we went, it was a Western Caribbean and it was Mexico. And he had requested up front, he had never been to Mexico, but he had requested up front, like, okay, but let's not go to Mexico. And I said, well, that's the only one available. And I had won by getting him to agree to go. So I'm like, it's all right. They're cruise ports, and there's excursions and this and that. But he had never been out of the country and had never seen third world at all. I'd seen it my whole life going to like Grenada. I remember going to Grenada when I was like, whatever, in 8th grade or something. And that was my first exposure. And there was like, a hill with buildings with no windows and they're like throwing the garbage out their window. Yeah. And it was like, that, and I'll never forget that. Right. But, he just never he didn't even know to expect it. Like, I didn't know. I could have prepared him maybe, but like electrical wires were going tree to tree, instead of electrical poles, and they were doing some road repair, and it was all manual labor and breaking up the concrete and all that. And again, no windows, no doors, the garbage and such. And he just didn't know. And so here we were just this past Sunday out to dinner. And I told the lady about our experience and how Joe had never seen anything like that before. And how it would be such a different lifestyle, such a lifestyle change for her.
Right.
And because we were even told in Honduras where we were that if you went inland, it was even more extreme third world,
Right.
And she had said she was from inland. So, I was just picking her brain a little bit about how that transition felt and, and things that she'd used to experience. And so then when she walked away, I'm like, because again, my husband was in shock.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you'd be surprised. There's more people on the planet that live that way than not.
That's right. That's right.
So I did a Google search, and it said something like 80% of the world is considered third world country. And I was shocked by that number.
It's crazy. My husband always says, why do you organize all of these trips and go and take all these people? And I said, well, first of all, if they're feeling led to do a short-term mission trip and serve, I'm not going to be the one that says, oh no, you can't go with me,
Yeah.
But second, and most importantly, everyone needs to see this. We live in our bubbles. We create these unbelievable, unrealistic bubbles that we have here, and people don't understand what the majority of the world is living like. And everybody needs to see this, if for no other reason, to have some perspective on your own life and appreciate what we have. One of the biggest prayers coming home from that 2015 trip was, Lord, just don't let me be resentful of my life. I do have 20 plus shoes in the closet, and you know what I mean? I drive a nice car, and I have these, and somebody said to me, Pam, it's okay. It's okay to have nice things, and we work hard, and we live in a country that has so many opportunities, and it's such a blessing, and it's okay. You don't have to feel guilty about that.
Yeah, that's true.
But it does put things into perspective really, really quickly. I have learned, as long as I've been traveling to Uganda, I have learned that I really need to stay home and isolate for, 10 to 14 days or so, because
wait, before or after?
After.
Okay.
Because I have to get my head and my heart back to first world. I am not, I'm very quick to want to punch somebody in the throat when I'm out in public, and they're complaining about their $16 chicken salad at
luxury problems. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, Jesus just wants you to go home. Just don't do anything, just go home. And that happened to me when I was at Amelia Coffee, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and these women were behind me just giving this poor waiter a hard time, and they were complaining about their meal, and I literally just started crying, and I was I have to leave. Like, I have to get up and I have to leave, because this is not going to go well.
I could see that. Yeah. It is very, very interesting. I think one of the stats that pulled up the other night when I was Googling it, I think most of that 80% or whatever the world lives on like $10 a day. And, I'm a coffee person. So, lattes and cappuccinos and such. And I'm like, holy.
Me
and again, it was such an interesting conversation, because at times, and pretty frequently, actually, my husband will get a little funky because he feels bad for the lifestyle that we do have. But his comparison, when that happens to him, has been his father, and how little bit, how hard his father had to work for the little bit of money that they had, but life has changed and such. But the other thing, I like to outsource out of the country. And one lady has worked for me for probably 18 years, and she's in
Oh, wow.
Bangladesh. And I love learning about the cultures, and I love learning
Yeah.
about them. But there are many times over those years where I've thought, does it bother her? Because, she sees that I might be charging somebody $1,000 for something, or I might make $20,000 on something, and then
Right.
I'm buying a car that's, whatever.
Right.
And she seems unbothered for one, but for two, when I hired her, I think she was at $5 an hour or something like that. She's up to 8 or 9 or $10 an hour now, which
Yeah.
is living like a queen in
Absolutely.
her country. And
Absolutely.
she is so thankful because it helps
Yeah.
her with her whole family. But
Of course. And it's generational. And that's the thing too that was very important to me. I love win-wins.
yeah,
When they can win and I can win, meaning the
yeah,
ministry. So I'm super cognizant when I go. I always bring suitcases of artisan crafts home that the ladies have made, or the artists, the
nice.
gentlemen have painted, or whatever. I do not barter with them. I give them what the price is, what the sticker
Right.
price is. And I know I could haggle and I could get that, but it's not. I don't do that because it's a fraction of the cost for me.
Right.
And then I can bring it home and still make money, charge more
Right.
here and sell it here. So it's a win for them and it's a win for the ministry.
Right.
So I think that's super important.
For sure. For sure. I was at a Lauren Daigle concert a few years ago, and she hands out these little postcards or whatever to sign up for Child Find. Are you
Yes.
familiar with that?
Oh yeah. Well, I've been to other concerts and they do Compassion International, or
okay.
Adopt a Child and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
and I will be honest, I struggle with that a lot. If you Google how much those administrators and the board are making, it makes me nauseous.
Yeah.
There's a very big church in Jacksonville, and they are very quick to say, "Oh, we got 200,000 kids or 2,000 kids sponsored, this year or month or whatever it is." And it's just, I have to be careful because I do have strong feelings about that.
Yeah.
89% of every 89 cents of every dollar that we bring in goes straight to our children. We have an
Nice.
educational ministry that we focus on educational scholarships. And because I wanted whatever I chose to do in Uganda to be legacy changing. It had to impact generations. And the one thing I knew could do that was an education. That education can never be taken from this child. Most of our children in school are girls because the girls get left behind. If there's any money in the home for an education, which is not free there, the boys get to go to school and the girls are made to stay home. And that is because they work in the fields and dig for food.
Right.
They fetch water. And then once they start their menstrual cycle, they're sold to the highest bidder, unfortunately, and it's usually an older man with HIV because he has multiple wives or multiple partners. So they get it. The grandmother or the family gets a dowry for her. And then it's a death sentence. 75% of those girls end up with HIV. So it's just a vicious, ugly cycle that's happening there. So when I realized that the girls were being left behind, it was just super important to make sure that we were doing everything we could on our end to get scholarships for those girls so they have an opportunity. Yeah.
And how does that go over? So does society allow them to break the pattern and get educated?
I'm not very popular.
Yeah.
Society is very welcoming of the education once you get out of the village. So what we do is go into the homes once we've identified a girl that's highly at risk of being forced into early marriage. We'll go in and ask their caregiver if they will forego the dowry if we can find a scholarship, to put her in school. And so we have 39 children in school right now.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's $1,400 a year to educate one child. So we remove her from the home, remove her from her village, and take her and put her in boarding school where she stays year round.
Oh my gosh.
With just a couple weeks break where she gets to go home.
Well, you found a way to make it work.
Absolutely. And we're supporting the
gosh.
schools that are already existing. They have excellent reputations. They're doing what they say they're going to do for the children. So I go over a couple of times a year. I check on all of our girls, their families,
Oh my gosh.
the schools to make sure they're doing what they say, they're going to do. So, it's been amazing. The pushback that I do get is mostly from the men. Obviously.
Yeah, that's what I...
And the grandmothers, it took, a lot of times these girls are being raised by a grandmother. We had our very first student, her grandmother was so skeptical and untrusting.
Yeah.
Of, like, who is this white lady showing up at my door wanting to take my granddaughter?
Right.
Get that, of course, I get that. And it took 3 years to get her to allow us because I kept showing up. I kept asking. I kept showing up and doing what I said I was going to do. And she eventually just decided to take a leap of faith and trust me. And,
wow.
And now I've been doing what I said I was going to do. And I love her granddaughter and I'm taking very good care of her and everybody's, happy. So
do they get to still interact? Like, does the grandma know she's okay?
Yes. So they have visitation days 2 or 3 times a year at the schools.
Okay.
So whatever grandmothers or parent would like to go to see them, we arrange for transportation and they're allowed to bring homemade snacks, and for their granddaughter or child. So we make sure that happens, if they'd like to go, we make sure that happens.
Wow. That's impressive. That's, definitely identifying an issue and finding a solution that's working is pretty amazing. So, what else are some of the things that you guys do?
Well, I do 100% of the fundraising on this side. And so we organize like a golf tournament every year. We have a golf tournament at Amelia National coming up in November. We did a gala this year in April. So I try to do different things. We have a private dinner coming up in October that this is going to be a brand new, event for us. So it'll be a small, intimate, catered dinner at the, Tiger Room in October. And so it'll be invitation only. And that way, with the gala, it was great. I got in front of over 100 people, but I was only able to speak for 10 or 15 minutes. And then I was pulled in 100 different directions, putting out fires. And it just wasn't personal, as far as people being asked, if they had more questions or if they really wanted to know more about what was going on and what the Lord. So I felt like maybe we could try this personal, more intimate setting and we could do a Q&A. People could ask me more questions about what we're doing and what the Lord's doing and how it works and that kind of thing. So we'll see.
Nice.
But as far as the other things that we offer for the children, they get a break in end of, I think, May, September, and then a long break in December, January. So they're on a calendar year for school. So they go back the end of January and get out in December. And so during their breaks, we provide either more education, like we've had a nurse come in and talk to them about basic hygiene. Nobody talks about how to take care of their bodies. Basic care. The majority of them, once this nurse stayed for a week, ended up telling her that they all had UTIs because they don't know how to care for their bodies,
Wow.
And so we address those kind of things, with them, how to just take care of themselves. And then we do classes, like they're super interested in tailoring classes. So we have sewing machines and, take them to classes in town where they can learn how to sew, just basic, hemming and sewing a button on, stuff like that.
Nice. Yeah.
And so things like that they're interested in doing that they may not otherwise be exposed to. So
Yeah. So is the primary mission then the scholarships and getting the
yeah,
girls into school? Okay.
yes,
All right. Got
absolutely.
it. Yeah. All right. Well, that's amazing.
We'll
So,
have our first graduating class this year. So we're excited to see,
oh my gosh.
what's next. I mean, what some of our, these little girls have the same dreams that our little girls have. They want to be doctors and lawyers and nurses, and one wants to be a pilot, and you just look at them when you find them in the fields in the village, and you're just like, yeah, no, that's never going to happen, unless people step up and do something. And the goal is that we educate these girls and then they stay in their villages to make a difference in their village. There's so much opportunity outside of their village, outside of the city, outside of the country. A lot of them go to UAE because it's close, London, and I'm talking about people, not my group, but people that I know that have graduated from university and they leave. That's great for them. But you think about what a difference they could make if they would just come home.
Well, in
and
what
pour
respect, though?
back into their
Because I was
community.
wondering that also. So, are there the opportunities for what they've gone to school for in their communities?
Exactly. Yes.
There is?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm hoping, if not, can we create opportunities?
Yeah.
Lawyers, like we had a group of attorneys in Kampala, which is the capital, that helped me with the process of getting set up properly there, a non-government organization, NGO. So we're in the final phases of establishing our NGO there. Well, I needed a group of attorneys to do that,
Right.
So what does that look like? Could we do a satellite office in, Jinja or in outside of the village that, I mean, I don't know. We haven't gotten there yet, but it's just, I want to see where the Lord's opening those doors, when we get to that point.
Right. Very interesting. So you personally, talking about some secrets of excellence. What are some of the challenges that you faced along the way with this? I know you mentioned the one related to coming home and needing a few weeks and honoring that in yourself, right? But
sure.
What are some of the other challenges? Like, how long were you a real estate agent, and was that
25
easy
years.
for you to walk away from? Were you ready to walk
It
away
was,
from?
honestly, I had gotten to the point where I was just done, and that's just kind of my personality. When I know, I know when I'm, and so many changes had happened in the real estate world, all of those legal changes with the commissions and all these policies and all that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am not doing this. I mean, it's one of the only industries in the world that you can work with people for months and not even know that you're going to get a paycheck, at the end of the day, because now the sellers don't have to pay the buyers, if they don't want to. So I'm like, I'm done. I'm too old for this. I am done.
Yeah, for sure.
It was not hard to walk away from. No.
And did you walk away knowing that you were going to do more with Amina?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. It had already been established and, rocking and rolling. And honestly, I felt good about devoting the time that I was putting into real estate. I could shift gears and now focus my time, more so into the ministry. So, and it has paid off, tenfold. So it's been a blessing for sure.
Nice. Now,
the other challenges that we, that I have faced, I think, there's a lot of them, honestly, when you're dealing with Africa and the people in Africa. And but also at home. I mean, my family was like, "You're doing what? You're going where?" You know,
Yeah.
my husband and son went on that first trip in 2015. And after that, my son is still very interested in pursuing missions and going. And his wife actually has been to Jinja as well. And we didn't know that when we had met her. Small
Oh,
world.
wow.
So crazy.
That is
Yeah.
really interesting.
Isn't that wild? And
Yeah.
so, and she's not even from here. I mean, she's from Georgia.
Wow.
And when she came to visit, one day we had a coffee table book on Jinja and our trip. And she was like,
Oh my
"Okay,
gosh.
I just need to tell you that I've been to this place." And I was like, "What?" I mean, the small world is so
You're in.
crazy.
You pass.
Yeah. So anyway, but my husband was done, one and done. Emotionally, it was super hard for him to see,
Yeah.
that. And again, he had never experienced anything like that either. And,
Yeah.
we had gotten really close to a very sick, little boy while we were there.
Mm.
And he ended up passing away not long after we got home. And, and that's okay. I mean, I understand that he doesn't, really want to go back. He supports me from home. He doesn't like that
Right.
I go by myself sometimes, like I'm leaving by myself in September. Um, he's not crazy about that, but he understands that, this is something that God's asked me to do, and I'm going to be
Mhm.
faithful in that. And, and I told my family early, if the Lord wants to take me home while I'm doing work that he's asked me to do, I- I'm okay with that. Just know
Yeah.
that I'm okay with that. And, God didn't promise safety. He didn't promise easy, and it has not been easy.
Uh-uh.
We've run into some corruption. There's big time corruption there, like any, I guess, third world. I've
Mhm.
heard Honduras is the same and Haiti is the same. And, you know, I saw something before the Trump administration come in, or shortly after, we were sending $1 billion a year to Uganda, with a B,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
and you're like,
What did that do?
where is that money? Because the people
Oh.
that I'm looking at certainly have never benefited from
Oh my
those,
gosh.
USAID. uh, I mean, the people that we see have never seen any of that,
Yeah.
those programs or that money. So, a lot of times it's stopping at the top, and never filtering down to the least of these.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
it's very frustrating. And I try not to get too political because I can't change that. I realized early that I can't change Uganda.
Uh-huh.
I'm creating a bubble, in Uganda that I can make a difference in, and the people that want to serve with me can make a difference
Mhm.
for these
Mhm.
little girls, but I can't change what's happening at the top.
Right. Or halfway between is what sounds like
Exactly.
more of the issue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so unfortunate, but definitely pretty rampant, it looks like.
for
Um,
sure.
yeah.
And it's not, I've had my life threatened while being there. We've run into some dangerous, situations. I do keep my head on a swivel as far as, safety, and we stay in very safe places. And I make sure that my team is safe. Then when we come, we travel with security as much as we can.
Mhm.
That's an additional benefit, cost.
Uh-huh.
But, they saved my life when I was there in January of 25.
What
Uh,
happened?
so interestingly enough, I did not, the Lord sees what's coming, and
Mhm.
obviously did not know that any of this was, that I was walking into any of this.
Mhm.
And for the first time ever, we had a security team go with us.
Mm.
And it was a gentleman reached out to one of our board members, and they had served in Afghanistan together. And she was over. I had sent her to Uganda unannounced, my board member, because just some red flags were happening with an
Mm.
organization that I had started, a culinary school,
Mhm.
several years ago. That was my very first project there.
Mhm.
And the administrator that I had on the ground in Uganda, it just, something was off, and
Mhm.
it just wasn't it just wasn't feeling right. So
Yeah.
I was very judgmental, I will say, honestly, about some other American ministries that send their people unannounced over there to check on things and how they're going. And I was like, ooh, I don't like that. That's kind of icky, and now I understand why. So I was like,
Yeah.
oh, don't be so quick to judge,
Yeah,
what
for
people are
sure.
doing. And so I did it, and she texted me and she said, are you sitting down? This is much worse than we thought. So that happened in August, I guess, of 24.
Mm-hmm.
And I cut funds immediately after that to the culinary school and the culinary program. And then she and I went back in January with that security team. So security guy reached out to her and just said, hey, what are you doing? You're over in Uganda by yourself. Like, this isn't safe. You need security. And she's like, oh, it's fine. We come a couple of times a year. We don't feel unsafe. It's fine. And so he was like, yeah, no, it's not fine.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So we met in December of 24 and put a team together and traveled together over in 25. And, thank the Lord we did, because, we ran into some heavy, heavy stuff. And they were, the group that I cut funds from was trying to put me in jail for child human trafficking. And just set up a trap for me to walk into.
For
And
sure.
yeah. And so my security team, they were brilliant, and they had teams ahead of time that kind of warned us what was happening. And we call to some of the agencies, that they had established relationships with
Wow.
prior to even getting there. And so we just needed to make a couple of calls and be like, yeah, this is crazy. We need the police to come and kind of sort this out. And we're just going to take a step back and let you guys handle it. And so it was crazy. It was the first time I really felt like, oh boy, this could be happening,
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to end up in jail over there, right?
Oh yeah, no. Oh, and it's not like our jails where you get 3 squares a day and TV and all the things. Yeah, it's a completely different environment that I would not want to see myself in by any
No.
means.
No.
So just super grateful the Lord had put those people together and directed their steps and just convicted them to help us at just the right time. So
It really is so fascinating. How we're so sheltered in the United States.
yep.
And I mean that literally, having the
Yeah.
ocean there and everything, like we are very much in another world over here. And off topic a little bit, but still similar, as years ago, I had a client, because I work with clients globally, right? So one was in the country of Georgia, and he had family and such in Dubai and some other areas around in there. But I think it was like a niece who, wherever she was living, over there, that general area, you're not supposed to have parties and you're not supposed to have nightclubs and all that. And so, but you could pay cops off to turn the other cheek. And like, there's all this stuff that he was explaining to me. But his little niece had gone to like this secret party thing, and it got busted. And so they literally were going to cut off one of her fingers. Like that was part of the punishment. Yeah. So his family were all like coming together, trying to pull strings, who they knew to get her out and have her keep her finger. So, so interesting.
It's very, on that 2015 trip that we did, there was a little boy, and this is graphic. I'll just tell you this. There was a little boy. They take thievery, burglary, very seriously over there, which is, I mean, I don't know. I was kind of shocked about that. I mean, but it's major crime. And a little boy stole a pair of shoes from the market. They have open air markets, kind of like our, flea markets or whatever. They have open air markets. And he just wanted a pair of shoes. And he stole them, and they found him. He fled, but they found him later, and they ended up throwing tires around him and then setting it on fire. And we were there, and the missionaries, the Americans that we stayed at a guest house that was run by Americans.
Yeah.
And the missionary teams that were on there went ballistic. I mean,
Yeah.
like, this is not okay. I mean, what is happening? Like, and the police, obviously the police got involved, and the missionaries there that are on the ground 24/7 just said, look, you need to stay in your lane. This is a local matter, and this is the way they handle things, and
Yeah.
there's nothing that we're going to do. Like, y'all are leaving next week. So
Right.
it was horrifying and frustrating and terrifying. And just all the, mom, I had a
Yeah.
little boy with me, and
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
it was just, it's haunting, and it stays with you because we don't have to face stuff like that. We don't
Yeah.
operate that way. And
Yeah.
it was terrifying.
Yeah. Wow. It like, did he die? Was that it?
Yeah.
Like that? Oh gosh, holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I
Uh,
was a child victim advocate prior to opening my own
mm,
private practice, and it was for the state attorney's office. And I'd sit in on depositions where children were cross-examined, a million times over, allegations of sexual abuse or physical abuse. And there are times where I would kind of check out a little bit myself because, I'm professional. I wasn't going to cry or anything sitting in
right.
there. And so I remember kind of looking off to the side, doing different things. And then, as a child victim advocate, I would request breaks for the child, get them water, have them come out, and things. And, I don't know, I remember people that knew me back then saying, how can you do that job? And there's so many people that said they could just not do it. Right. And this is
Right.
what reminds me of you and your husband. It's like, you either can do something like that or you
Right.
can't, and it's like,
Exactly.
same with.
And you do have to compartmentalize. You
Yeah.
do. And that's why I take that 2 weeks when I come home,
Mm-hmm.
and I always recommend that people bring journals with them if they've never been, because that was recommended to us. And oh my gosh, what a difference that made for our trip, for me mentally, because
Yeah.
what we're seeing and feeling, and even just all the senses, smelling, hearing, just all the things, you have to have an outlet for those things, because I'm so thankful that my husband was with me and we could lay in bed at night and just go back and forth and talk about what we experienced that day, but the journal was just so huge for me. And I wasn't even really a journaler, and I tell people now when they're coming and wanting to jump on a team with me, look, please, even if you don't think you want to or need to, please just bring one,
Right.
and
Right.
you just have it there in case you need somewhere to expel this stuff, because what we're seeing is heavy, and you really do need a place, an outlet.
Yeah, I
We
could see that.
debrief as a team and make sure everybody's good, and those kind of things. But even in your private moments, you need somewhere to release that
Right. Right.
tension,
Right. Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's a lot.
Yeah, I could see that. And some being able to have the ability, and I don't know if desire is the right word, but knowing who you are and what you're able to do. Like, my husband, like yours, is totally 100% okay with never seeing anything like that again. And,
Yeah.
Again, at dinner the other night, I'm like, but, we should recognize these things and be aware of them, and not, that's like me with the news. Like, most of the news is so negative, but to me, I
Right.
want to know what's happening. So I try to find a source to at least get the information. I don't want to put my head in the ground, right? And that's
Exactly.
yeah,
That's what Bobby and I say all the time. Are we going to put be an ostrich and put our head in the sand about this? Or are we going to look at it and see, if it's something we can manage to do or not do, or what does that look like? I mean, and some people I see all the time, I'm always asking, hey, are you interested in going to Uganda? Do you want to jump on a trip with me?
Yeah.
And people are like, some are like, no, I don't think I could do it. I mean, emotionally, I just don't. And that's fine. I mean, there's other ways that people can help. You can pray for the country. You can pray for our team travels. You can, give up your Starbucks today and send $10 through the website. I mean, there's so many ways. You can volunteer at the golf tournament. You don't have to go to Uganda to be a part of ministry. There's so many things that are happening here that I always need, I need bodies, and I need people that want to be involved, that are excited about what the Lord's doing in Uganda, but that just can't see themselves there. And that's okay.
I loved all those points that you just made. And for anybody listening to see that there are these different ways to participate without actually going being one of the options, but without.
Yes,
and
of course. Yeah.
For me, because I could see myself going, but I have a question related to getting sick. Like, do you get sick? And the reason I say this is because I've been to Mexico 3 times and got sick every time. I got sick in going to Italy, and I got sick. Well, I feel like every time I travel out of the country, I get sick. So I have something about my immune system or whatever that it's really used to the germs at home, but it's not used to like when I leave home. And the last time we went on a trip out of the country, I told my doctor, I'm like, listen, every single time, like I don't want to be sick half of my vacation. Like, is there anything? So I loaded up, in vitamin B12 and A and C and all sorts of stuff. But do you do things like that to prepare your body? But also, have you gotten sick going out there?
I have been blessed to never get sick. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
We take malaria medication. We start it prior to the trip, take it the whole time, and then a week or so after.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never had to deal with malaria. My daughter, my teenage daughter, she was a teenager at the time. She got violently ill with something, and I have a feeling it was food related.
So Montezuma's revenge is what it sounds like.
It was coming out the other way.
Yes.
And I've never seen that in my life. I was like, she's tiny, like 5'2". I'm like, how do you even have all that in there?
Yeah.
And so I was gagging while it was horrible. But so she ended up in the hospital there. And again, I just think that it was food poisoning. She has a bad habit even here of not washing fruits and vegetables before she eats them. And so anyway, so now I'm super careful about that. We make sure that we're washing everything, and we have access to bottled water.
That's what I was wondering.
We get the big 5-gallon or whatever that big, thing is with the water. So we have access to clean water. So that's never an issue. And then we just make sure that when we eat out, that it's at a reputable place. And if we're eating in, we make sure that it's fully cooked, and, just take the normal precautions. But again, I've just never had to experience that personally. But like you said, I do the IV therapy.
Yeah. Okay.
Before I leave, I usually do, all the vitamins and hydration therapy, and take, bump up on all the vitamins and stuff before I leave.
I gotcha. Yeah. I love it. Well, if you ever want to do something similar to a golf fundraiser, we have Shotgun Club Sporting Clays fundraisers. It's this exactly the same concept. So instead of getting whole sponsors, you get station sponsors. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's unique.
I need to come out and do it myself, like shoot myself. I love to shoot, but I've never done the clays.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, but definitely consider that in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Give us the website, phone. Well, if you want a phone number, email. Again, go over the ways that people can support you and your program.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So on the website, it's www.aminahope.org, AMINAHOPE.org. And there's different levels of, if you wanted to do a sponsorship for an educational scholarship, you could do a whole sponsorship for the year. You could do a half. Your office could go in and do
Nice.
it collectively. We have a nurses a group in Arkansas, Texas, that are sponsoring one of our new nursing students. So that's very
Oh,
cool.
nice.
So,
Yeah.
there's medical fund. We just unfortunately had one of our mamas pass away this week, of one of our students. And, so there's some funeral costs,
Mm.
that things that that's our second mama to die this year. I mean, I've
Oh,
never
wow.
experienced that.
Mm.
And it's heartbreaking. I have one director on the ground there, Miss Agatha, and, she's hands on there, and she gets so close to these girls and their families. And
Yeah.
it's just heartbreaking. So, I'm thankful because of the gala and the money we raised at the gala. We do have
Yeah.
some residual that I can stuff like that comes up, and I'm talking about $150. I sent her $150 to cover a casket and food for
Wow.
the family, transportation. I mean, it's
Wow.
nominal to us, but it's life changing to them. They can't do those things without people like us and
Right.
ministries like mine. So a lot more information on the website, so please check that out. My contact information is also on the website.
Mhm.
We have that dinner coming up in October. November, we have the golf tournament. It's at Amelia National this year, which I'm
Mhm.
really excited about because they just did a 15-month complete renovation of their course, and it's private, so not everybody is able to experience
Oh,
the
yeah.
course.
Okay. Nice.
So I think it'll be fun for our golfers.
Yeah.
So information again is on the website about that. And then I'm leaving mid-September, to head over to Uganda. And then again in January. We usually try to take our biggest teams in January, just
Okay.
because that is our busiest time, getting all of these kiddos ready for school,
Oh,
getting school,
right.
shopping
Yes.
for them and transporting them and all of
Oh,
that. We need lots of help in January, and then we'll go again in May or June. So lots of opportunities to jump on
I
a
love
team.
that. I love that.
If you feel led to do that.
Right. Right. Well, it sounds amazing, Pam, and I
Thank
really
you.
do appreciate, well, first of all, what you're doing, and but secondly, sharing it and giving folks literally the opportunity to do this work with you.
Yeah, it's
So
life changing. It's not
yeah.
only life changing to the student, but it's life changing for
Yeah.
us too. I mean, to
Yeah.
know that you're making a difference, a real difference in
Yeah.
a child's life with an education, is you can't put a value on that for them.
Mm-mm.
It is going to change generations.
Well, I do have a question floating around in my brain. So right now you said you got a graduating class. So is that up through like what's considered like high school? Is that what
Yeah,
that is?
like our 12th
Mhm.
grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I
And
just heard you say nursing students. So is that like in high school or is that beyond?
It's beyond. So
Okay.
we have two nursing students that are in nursing school right now. They
Mhm.
had completed their, high school
Mhm.
education and really wanted to go to
Oh,
nursing school. And
okay.
so I reached out to a nursing group, friends of mine. One's an OT, one's a PT. One's a speech pathologist. And so they have actually been to Uganda before, and one's actually on my board. And she reached out and just got some nurses and doctors together and said, this is really important to me. And what do you guys think about sponsoring her
Oh,
as a
wow.
group? And so
Yeah.
they jumped on it. Yeah, it's been fantastic.
Oh, that's cool. So where's
hmm
she going to school or where are they going to school for nursing?
It's called Kamuli Girls School. It's in between Jinja and Kampala. So yeah, outside of the major city, but it's still a top rated school in the area. So
Nice.
they do have really good schools. People say, "Are you going to start a school when?" No,
Yeah.
unless the Lord's asking me to do that, but they have amazing schools.
That's
And I want to
awesome.
support the schools that are already there functioning and doing a
Yeah.
great, mine and Agatha's responsibility is to make sure they're doing, what they say they're going to do. And if they're
Right.
not, I'm quick to pull them and put them somewhere else. Our
Right.
kids have a top education.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
And then the other question I have is the Amina name. How'd you come up with that?
Yes.
What is that about?
Amina means chosen.
Okay.
In a local tribal language. And it was just really fitting.
Yeah.
It means chosen and loved and blessed and all the things. And so when I wanted to redo our website, I hired a guy at Jacksonville, Pete Kimmel, and he was amazing. He did so much research and he spent so much time and effort really wanting to get this right. And he said, "Hey, would you be willing to change the name? Because it was Stirring Hope." And I said, "Yeah, I would be. What are you thinking?" And he threw out a couple of things and Amina just resonated with us
For
immediately.
sure. It's beautiful. Nice.
Yeah, super, super grateful for his time and talent for sure.
Nice, nice. Well, thank you again, Pam. This
You're
is really
welcome.
cool. I appreciate this.
You.
And I look forward to finding my fit and how to help you guys out.
I would love that. Let's chat and let's do
Yeah.
something with the shotgun. That would be so fun.
Yeah, for sure. It is really fun. People enjoy it. It's a different, there's so many golf tournaments.
Exactly.
So
That's what I was thinking.
Try
Something
something
different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And good luck to you.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Mastered Secrets of Excellence with Don Grant. Whether you're an elite athlete or pursuing success in your career or personal life, Don Grant's expertise and insights are here to guide you. Don't forget to visit dongrant.com/free to grab your exclusive free resources, hypnosis audios, mental training tools, and even a golf cart at her club. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow, rate, and share this podcast. Stay connected with Dawn on all social media platforms for more inspiration, tips, and updates. Remember, mastering your mind is the key to unlocking your full potential. Until next time, keep pushing your limits and striving for excellence.